Hello, I'm Carrie from the Saranac-Clarksville District Library, and we are going to make an instructional video as part of our 2020 and 2021 Fall and Winter Adult Programming. This is the instructional video for the Ceramic Tile Coasters Craft Kit. In your craft kit, the supplies provided are 4 ceramic tiles, 4 recycled cardboard squares, 4 felt squares, a foam brush, and 1 container of Mod Podge. What you'll need from home is a pair of scissors, and if you see step 7 of your written instructions in your craft kit, there are some optional materials that you can use to finish off your coaster tiles to personalize them. Also, if you picked up your craft kit and you decided you wanted to personalize your coasters with your own recycled cardboard, then you may use those. Just cut them to squares that fit your coaster tiles. Step 1 is we're going to cover the back of our coasters with the felt. So we just take some Mod Podge and brush it on the back of your tile with your foam brush, and place your felt down on top and just press it. We're going to do this to each tile and then let it dry for approximately 20 minutes so that we can flip them over to do the cardboard tops. And we're not going to worry about trimming the felt or the cardboard tops until the very last step, unless you preferred to trim them precisely before we started, but I think it's easier to do that last. You can be generous with your Mod Podge on your back of your coasters for your felt. So now we are going to wait approximately 20 minutes while this dries so we can flip them over. And I'm going to just touch up a few areas here that I feel I did not be generous with. And we will be back in 20 minutes. We are moving on to step 2 of our ceramic tile coasters. After you've allowed the felt to dry, we are going to flip them over and we are going to brush Mod Podge onto the front of the tile so that we can glue down our cardboard cutouts. And I'm just going to do 2 first. You can brush it all the way to the ends and place your cardboard cutouts. We're going to trim at the end. Press firmly. And then we are going to move on to step 3 and brush a generous amount of Mod Podge onto the top of the tiles. And then as it's drying for 20 minutes, you may have to come back and apply some pressure unless you have something that won't obviously stick, to put some weight on it. I would maybe wait a little bit to do that. And so over the next 20 minutes, you can come back and just apply a little pressure to the corners because that's where it's popping up at. And then we will be back in 20 minutes for a second coat. So we are back after our first coat of Mod Podge, and we are going to do coat 2, and we're going to again apply it generously. To each tile. And after the first coat, I did have to come back and apply a little bit of pressure to the edges of each tile to get it to start to stick down. And you will be using a foam brush that comes with your kit. I just did not have one ready available, so I'm using a regular brush. I did get a little bit of messy here. Just gonna wipe a little bit of this off. Which we don't really have to worry about the edges. In step 7, there was an option to paint the edges after the trim, but if you don't paint, we can just quickly put a little brush to give it a layer of protection. So, and we are done with coat 2, and we are going to let this dry for approximately 20 minutes. And we will be back. Okay, so we are back after another 20-minute letting dry session, and we're going to do one more coat of Mod Podge on each tile. I'm going to try and do this one a little bit more thinner than before. Between your 20-minute sessions, you might want to wrap your foam brush in a baggie or some type of plastic so that it doesn't dry out. You can tell my brush is drying out a little bit. And I know when I paint at home, I do that. And you can leave brush in a plastic bag for days and then come back and it's still wet with paint. get glue drying on those edges, that's okay, because we're going to trim and then we can touch up some afterwards. So that is our final coat of Mod Podge, and we are going to let that dry and then come back and do some trimming. Okay, so we've come back from letting our last layer of Mod Podge dry, and to finish off our project, we're going to trim the excess felt and any excess cardboard that's laying over your tile. This is pretty easy. Just have some sharp scissors handy. And you can do this on all 4 tiles. Okay, so we did all of our trimming. So the tiles will look like this. And after trimming, I've decided I want to do one more layer kind of around the edges to seal the felt and the corners a little bit more. So I'm just going to do a thin layer. And if you have any residue on the edges, you can clean it up before you do this last step if you're choosing one more layer. You can also, as an option, seal it with a high gloss lacquer spray, and if you do that, just let it dry for 24 hours. I would suggest that if you're going to use these outdoors, or maybe if you're giving as a gift, or you think they're going to have a lot of use. I'm sure it'll seal a lot better than the Mod Podge. And you can see over here some of my finished ones that I did before, where I painted the edges, and I used a different color felt on these, and how you can use different recyclable cardboard boxes for different things. So I'm going to finish this after the video, and if you would like to post your projects to our Facebook page, that would be awesome. And I hope you enjoyed this ceramic tile coaster craft. Okay, we are back, and I'm going to show you step 7, which is all optional. I decided that I preferred the painted edges on my coaster tiles, so I have purchased a small bottle of acrylic paint. You can get these at the store for like $1, and these are not provided in your kit. And you can see I've already done one coat around the edges. I'm not using any water. I've just squirted a little brown paint, and I am going around the edges again, just rather thickly, filling in any areas where I see the tile on the edges, like so. So after you go around with your acrylic paint on all 4 sides, which will look, and filling in any white spots on the edges, which will then look like these, I'm going to let those dry for about 20 minutes. And the second option on step 7 is to spray with a acrylic sealer, and I'm going to do that on all 4 coasters. And that is the end of the step 7 options. Thank you.